From ancient spear throwing to high-tech tournaments, the story of darts is as wild as a wayward arrow. Ever wonder how a pub game became a global sensation? Or why players have crazy nicknames and walk-on music? We're about to take you on a journey through time, from smoky English taverns to sold-out arenas. You'll meet legends, witness scandals, and discover how a simple game of throwing pointy things at a board became the thrilling sport we know today. This is the entire history of darts. Long before we had light-up boards and tungsten darts, our ancestors were already perfecting the art of throwing pointy objects. Archaeologists have found evidence of throwing games dating back thousands of years. In ancient Greece, young men would throw spears at targets to show off their skills. Meanwhile, in what is now France, people were tossing small arrows at the ends of wine barrels for fun. But the real ancestor of modern darts might surprise you. It's believed that the game has its roots in archery.
I'm Bob Anderson. In 1988, I was a champion of the world of darts. And today, I'd like to give you a few tips and pointers as to how to improve your game of darts. Theories as to where the game of darts originated. Some of which I subscribe to, some I don't. But the one I mainly subscribe to is a historical fact that the English archers actually threw their arrows at sawn off log ends of trees in order to just practice or indeed just enjoy themselves in moments when they could relax between battles with the French.
That's right. The same skill that helped armies conquer empires eventually led to your favourite pub game. Talk about a bullseye in evolution. Fast forward to medieval England. Archery was a big deal. So big that King Edward IV made it mandatory for all able-bodied men to practice. But let's face it, standing outside in the English rain isn't anyone's idea of a good time. So what did these clever archers do? They brought the game indoors. They shortened their arrows, used the bottom of wine barrels as targets, and voila, indoor archery was born. This game quickly spread through pubs and taverns, becoming a favourite pastime. Now, let's zoom ahead to the late 1800s. This is when darts really started to take shape as the game we know today. Before this, every pub had its own rules, and darts could be made of just about anything: wood, bone, or even rolled up paper. But in 1896, a carpenter named Brian Gamlin changed everything. He's credited with creating the standard numbering system we use on dartboards today. Why is it so weird, with 20 at the top and seemingly random numbers all around? Well, Gamlin's idea was to penalise inaccuracy. Around the same time, darts competitions started popping up all over England. The first organised tournament we know of was held in 1901 in a pub called the Adelphi Inn in Leeds. As we enter the 20th century, the popularity of darts exploded faster than an alley-pally crowd after a 9-dart finish. By the 1920s and 30s, nearly every pub in Britain had a dartboard. But darts wasn't just for fun anymore, it was becoming big business. The first major darts organisation, the National Darts Association, was formed in 1924. They set out standard rules and helped organise bigger and better tournaments. In 1927, something happened that would change darts forever. The first ever News of the World Individual Darts Championship was held. This wasn't just some local pub contest, this was nationwide, with regional qualifiers leading up to a grand final. The winner? A man named Jim Pike, who took home a whopping £6 prize. That might not sound like much, but it was the equivalent of about 380 quid today. The News of the World tournament became the biggest event in darts, running for an incredible 70 years until 1997. It made stars out of ordinary pub players and paved the way for the professional game we know and love today. Now, hold on to your flights, because we're about to enter one of the most dramatic periods in darts history. In 1973, the British Darts Organisation, BDO, was formed. For nearly 20 years, they were the big dogs of the darts world. They organised the first World Professional Darts Championship in 1978, which became the most prestigious title in the sport. But by the early 1990s, trouble was brewing. A group of top players, led by the legendary Phil Taylor, felt that darts wasn't getting the recognition or the prize money it deserved. In 1992, they broke away from the BDO to form their own organisation, the World Darts Council, which later became the Professional Darts Corporation, PDC. This split shook the darts world to its core. Suddenly, there were two rival organisations, each claiming to represent the best in darts. Players had to choose sides, and some of the sport's biggest names jumped ship to the PDC. The BDO tried to fight back, even taking the PDC to court, but in the end, they had to accept that darts was now a two-horse race. The settlement allowed players to compete in both organisations' world championships, leading to some epic cross-code battles. As if the BDO-PDC split wasn't exciting enough, the 1970s and 80s saw another revolution in darts: television. In 1972, ITV's World of Sport started broadcasting matches, and viewers loved it. But it was the BBC that really took darts to the next level. In 1978, they started broadcasting the World Professional Darts Championship. Suddenly, millions could watch the world's best players in action from their living rooms. This TV exposure changed everything. Darts players went from being local pub heroes to national celebrities overnight. Characters like Jockey Wilson, Eric Bristow, and John Lowe became household names. Their larger-than-life personalities and nail-biting matches kept viewers glued to their screens. The TV boom also brought in big money. Sponsors started pouring cash into the sport, and prize pools grew bigger and bigger. In 1983, Jockey Wilson became the first player to win £30,000 for a single tournament. Fast forward to today, and the PDC World Champion takes home a cool £500,000. But it wasn't just about the money. TV brought darts to a whole new audience. People who'd never set foot in a pub could now experience the thrill of a 180 or a last dart double to win the match. It turned darts from a pub game into a proper spectator sport. And let's not forget the commentators. The likes of Sid Waddell, with his colourful phrases and unbridled enthusiasm, became as much a part of the darts experience as the players themselves. Who can forget classics like when Alexander of Macedonia was 33, he cried salt tears because there were no more worlds to conquer. Bristow's only 27. As far as the players go, certain names shine brighter than a brand new set of flights. Let's start with the man, the myth, the legend, Phil the Power Taylor. With 16 world championships under his belt, Taylor isn't just the greatest darts player of all time, he's arguably one of the most dominant athletes in any sport ever. Taylor's career spanned an incredible 30 years from 1987 to 2018. During that time, he racked up 85 major titles and over 200 professional tournament wins. His rivalry with Raymond van Barneveld in the 2000s produced some of the most thrilling matches in darts history, including the 2007 PDC World Championship final, widely regarded as the greatest darts match ever played. But let's rewind a bit. Before Taylor, there was Eric the Crafty Cockney Bristow. Bristow dominated the 1980s, winning 5 world championships and helping to bring darts into the mainstream. Known for his flamboyant style and supreme confidence, some might say arrogance, Bristow was darts' first true superstar. Then there's John Old Stoneface Lowe, the first player to hit a televised 9-dart finish in 1984. Lowe's perfect leg earned him a cool £102,000, more than he'd won in his entire career up to that point. Lowe's consistent excellence over 3 decades, he won world championships in the 1970s, 80s and 90s, cements his place among the all-time greats. We can't forget Jockey Wilson, the Scottish dynamo, who won 2 world championships despite struggling with dartitis, a condition where players struggle to release the dart. Wilson's rags to riches to rag story is one of the most compelling in darts history. In more recent years, players like Michael van Gerwen, Gary Anderson and Peter Wright have carried the torch, pushing average scores to heights that would have been unthinkable in earlier eras. Van Gerwen in particular has dominated the sport since 2014, winning 3 PDC World Championships and an incredible record-breaking 7 Premier League titles. While darts have traditionally been male-dominated, Women have been throwing arrows and hitting bullseyes right alongside the men for decades. The trailblazer of women's darts is undoubtedly Maureen Flowers. In the 1970s, Flowers regularly competed against and beat male players in exhibition matches. She became the first woman to play in a men's world championship in 1979, paving the way for future generations of female players. But the real queen of the Oche is Trina Gulliver, MBE. Known as the Golden Girl, Gulliver has won the Women's World Championship an incredible 10 times between 2001 and 2016. Her dominance in women's darts is comparable to Phil Taylor's in the men's game. Fallon Sherrock has become the new face of women's darts in recent years. In 2019, she made history by becoming the first woman to win a match at the PDC World Championship, defeating Ted Evans. She followed this up by beating 11th seed Mensur Suljovic in the next round, proving that her first win was no fluke. Sherrock's success has opened doors for more women to compete in PDC events, bringing us closer to a truly integrated professional circuit. Other notable women in darts include Elisa Ashton, a 4-time BDO Women's World Champion who earned a PDC Tour card in 2020, and Mikuru Suzuki, the miracle from Japan who won back-to-back BDO Women's World Championships in 2019 and 2020. While the basic concept of throwing a pointy object at a circular target has remained largely unchanged, the tools and techniques surrounding the game have evolved quite considerably. Let's start with the darts themselves. Gone are the days of wooden darts with turkey feather flights.
Turn of the century, this would have been the type of dart that you would normally have found in a public house, a very basic dart, made of wood, weighted at one end, normal point and turkey feathers. It would also be found in other shapes and sizes. This is lead weighted round. It is made in France and was also imported not only for public houses but also for fairgrounds. As the technology improved, the introduction of the brass dart occurred in about 1925-26. Again, wooden body, turkey feathers, but this time a metal brass body. By the end of the 1930s, technology had improved even more, and we saw the first all-metal dart, which was made by the Unicorn Dart Company and is called the Silver Comet. And what is particular about this dart is that the unique feature is that it has a small cap at the end, which helps to secure the darts into the body of the dart. The working man would actually have his own brass darts, sometimes provided for him by the public house, and very often they make their own boxes to contain their darts in. After the Second World War, with the Jim Pike Company going into production, Jim Pike produced his own darts with the familiar Jim Pike fish logo, but it was also the beginning of unusual darts. This one, for example, was manufactured by the Tex Company, and is in fact 3 parts. The flight detaches, the point comes out, the point is then inserted into the body of the stem, is then replaced, and you can then put the dart into your pocket without damaging your clothing. And then throughout the 60s and 70s, brass darts were the most popular. They came out in different shapes and sizes, but due to the popularity of the game, novel versions came out. These, for example, are shaped like beer bottles, and these were manufactured again by Unicorn and are known as the Dum Dum. By the late 1970s, brass was being replaced by tungsten, which was a much more dense material. Therefore, the darts that were manufactured, like these ones here, could be much more narrow, and that improved the chances of obtaining that fairly elusive 180.
Today's top players use precision-engineered tungsten darts, often with customized grips and weights to suit their throwing style. Some players, like Peter Wright, are known for constantly tinkering with their setup, sometimes changing darts mid-match. The dartboard has also seen some high-tech upgrades.
As far as the development of the dartboard is concerned, during the Victorian period there were 2 main kinds of dartboard. The first was the small concentric dartboard, which is modelled on the archery target, and the second was the random number diamond-shaped dartboard, as shown here. But by the turn of the 20th century, other dartboards, more complex dartboards, have been developed. Here's an example of the fives dartboard, which was popular in the East End of London at the turn of the century, although this particular example shows the modern treble included as well. But as this game became easier to play, it was necessary for darts to become more complex to maintain its interest for its players. And so the number of segments was increased from 12 to 20. And this is an example of the Yorkshire dartboard, which includes the double ring, 20 scoring segments and the bullseye. What happened next is something peculiar to darts in terms of it being a target sport, and that is that the treble was introduced, the modern dartboard, and it effectively moved the highest scoring area, which was normally the bullseye, higher up the board to what is now the treble 20. The earliest dartboards were actually made of wood, either elm or poplar, but in some areas they used the material that was local to that area. In such cases as with the Burton board, where it's actually made from clay. The most modern boards, of course, are made from bristle. That was first introduced in 1934 and was a material called sisal, which is used in the making of ropes, but in the case of a dartboard, biscuits of sisal are compacted together to make the modern.
While traditional bristle boards are still used in professional play, electronic dartboards have taken the amateur game by storm. These boards automatically calculate scores, can connect to the internet for online play, and even have built-in games and training programs. But perhaps the biggest technological revolution in darts has been how we watch and interact with the sport. High-speed cameras can now track the exact flight of the dart, while computer graphics instantly calculate and display scores and averages. This has made the game much more TV-friendly and easier for casual fans to follow. Live streaming has also transformed how fans engage with darts. Platforms like PDC TV allow fans to watch tournaments from anywhere in the world, while social media has given players a direct line of communication with their supporters. Some players, like Daryl Gurney, even live stream their practice sessions, giving fans unprecedented access to their preparation. Looking to the future, virtual reality could be the next frontier for darts. Imagine stepping up to a virtual oche and facing off against your favourite pro player, or attending a World Championship final from the comfort of your living room. The possibilities are endless. This historical account wouldn't be complete without mentioning the big tournaments, the events every darts player dreams of winning. These are the stages where legends are made, careers are defined, and the most dramatic moments in darts history unfold. Let's start with the granddaddy of them all, the PDC World Darts Championship. Held annually at Alexandra Palace in London, affectionately known as Ali Pali to darts fans, this is the tournament that every player wants to win. With its massive £2.5 million prize pool, electric atmosphere and global TV audience, winning the Sid Waddell Trophy is the pinnacle of any player's career. But the World Championship isn't the only major in town. The World Match Play, held each July in Blackpool, is considered by many to be the second most prestigious title in darts. Played in a longer format than most tournaments, the match play tests players' stamina and consistency over extended matches. Then there's the Premier League, a month-long event in which the top players in the world face off in arenas across the UK, Ireland and Europe. With its round-robin format and weekly matches, the Premier League is a true test of a player's ability to perform consistently at the highest level. Other major PDC tournaments include the UK Open, known as the FA Cup of Darts due to its open draw format, the World Grand Prix, famous for its unique double-in, double-out format, and the Grand Slam of Darts, which for many years was the only tournament to feature players from both the PDC and BDO. On the BDO side, the World Professional Darts Championship was considered equal in prestige to its PDC counterpart for many years. Held at the iconic Lakeside Country Club from 1986 to 2019, the tournament produced many memorable moments and launched the careers of several future PDC stars. While the BDO unfortunately went into liquidation in 2020, its legacy lives on in the WDF, World Darts Federation World Championship, which aims to continue the tradition of open darts at the highest level. These major tournaments aren't just about the titles and prize money, they're where darts history is made. Phil Taylor's 16 World Championships, Raymond van Barneveld's incredible comeback against Taylor in the 2007 final, Michael van Gerwen's record-breaking averages, and Fallon Sherrock's groundbreaking wins are pivotal moments where darts legends are born. Like any sport, darts has had its fair share of drama over the years. We've already touched on the BDO-PDC split, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. In 2016, the darting world was rocked by a match-fixing scandal. Players Carl McKinstry and Wessel Nyman were banned for fixing matches in the Modus Icons of Darts Live League. It was a stark reminder that darts, like any other professional sport, has a dark underbelly too. On a lighter note, who could forget the great Fartgate controversy of 2018? During a Grand Slam of darts match, Gary Anderson and Wesley Harms accused each other of releasing noxious gases on stage. Anderson vehemently denied the charges, leading to one of the most bizarre post-match interviews in darts history. Darts isn't just a sport, it's a culture. From the raucous crowds at Ali Pali to the local league night at your neighborhood pub, darts brings people together like few other sports can. One of the most beloved aspects of darts culture is the players' walk-on songs and nicknames. Where else can you see Snakebite Peter Wright strutting out to Don't Stop the Party with his mohawk dyed in the colours of the Scottish flag? Or watch the Flying Scotsman Gary Anderson enter to the sounds of Jump Around? Let's not forget the fancy dress. Darts fans are known for their outrageous costumes, which turn venues into a sea of colour and creativity. From groups of Smurfs to full-size dartboards, the imagination of darts fans knows no bounds. As we look to the future, darts seems poised for even greater heights. The sport is attracting younger players and fans, with initiatives like the PDC Development Tour and Challenge Tour providing pathways for new talent. Technology continues to play an ever-increasing role, with social media and streaming platforms bringing the sport to new audiences worldwide. Virtual darts leagues emerged during the COVID-19 pandemic, showing the sport's adaptability in challenging times. Talents like Luke Humphreys, Dimitri van der Berg, Luke Littler, and Jose de Sousa are pushing the old guard, promising exciting battles for years to come. And with more women like Fallon Sherrock and Lisa Ashton competing at the highest level, the future of darts looks more diverse and inclusive than ever. The entire history of darts, from ancient throwing games to the high-tech global sport we know and love today, is a journey filled with legendary players, dramatic moments, and more than a few pints along the way. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a casual fan, we hope this trip through time has given you a new appreciation for darts' rich history and culture. Let us know in the comments what your favourite moment in darts history is, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more enthralling darts content.